Hello students. In our earlier class, we have tried to understand what is force and what are different types of forces that are existing around us. Next topic that today we are going to cover is inertia. Then what is inertia? This is a new term for you, maybe. So we have seen that an object changes its state of motion due to the force only, isn't it? And in the absence of a force, objects exhibit a tendency to remain in that existing situation or state of motion or of rest, whatever it is. So we can discuss certain examples related to inertia. Inertia is actually the tendency of any object to remain in the existing state in whatever state it is. It could be your resting state, continuing with that state. It could be you are in a motion. Then also inertia is that working on your body and directional inertia also. So you see, the definition for inertia will be the tendency of an object to remain in the existing state, whatever state it could be state of rest, it could be state of motion, or it could be a state where you are trying to change the direction. On the basis of this, inertia has been classified into 3 different types. So with the help of an example, we will try to understand this. Okay. Suppose you are sitting in a bus and the bus is also at rest. You are also sitting inside the bus. So your body is at rest, sitting at one place. The bus is also stationary. So the bus is also at rest. Okay, both the objects are at rest. But suddenly what happens? The driver of the bus enters the bus and he starts the bus. In that case, what happens? Your body is at rest and the bus in which you are sitting tends to move forward. The bus tends to move forward when the driver comes and starts the engine and starts the bus. What happens? Your body, which is at rest sitting on the seat of the bus, will get a jerk backwards. The body which was at rest was not in motion. What happened? When the bus started, the body got a jerk in the backward direction because the body was not ready to change its state. Its tendency to change the existing state of rest. Okay. Suppose this is a bus and these are the windows and the bus driver came and started running the bus. You are sitting over here. Okay. The complete body will not be seen. But as the bus will start moving forward, what is going to happen? Your body, which was at rest, was not ready to change its resting position in the beginning. It will get a jerk in the backward direction. Okay? Here, the inertia of the state of rest can be seen. An object in the state of rest cannot change its state of rest due to its inherent properties. And this property is called as inertia of the state of rest. Okay? This is a bus, so it needs some tires also. Okay. I hope you understood. You all must have faced this situation when the vehicle starts Maybe you are in a car or sitting pavilion backside of some two-wheeler also. When the vehicle starts, you feel you have a jerk backside. Okay, that is due to inertia of the state of rest. Your body is not ready to change into motion in the beginning. That's why it gets a jerk. And then what happens? When the bus or the vehicle is moving, your body also is moving with it. And your body gets used to motion. Now, when the body is in motion, suddenly the bus, which was moving, what can happen? It could be a stop or some other vehicle came in front of you, one bicycle say. One bicycle rider in front of you. In that case, what can happen? The driver, here the driver who is sitting in front of he will apply the brake instantly. He doesn't want to have an accident. So suddenly he puts the brake. In that case, now the bus was in motion, and because along with the bus, your body also was in motion. And suddenly when the brakes were applied, your body was not ready to stop. What will happen? What will happen? The body was tending to move forward, got ready to move forward, but suddenly the brake were applied and your body had to stop. In that case, you get a forward jerk. Your body bends forward because it was ready to move forward, but suddenly on the seat of the bus which was moving, stop, and your body had to stop. In that case, suddenly your body had to stop and it was ready to move forward. That's why you get a forward jerk. In this case, you got a backward jerk. Backward jerk. And in the second situation, when your body was in motion, what happened? Your body got a forward jerk. Why? Because your body was ready to move forward, but it got a sudden break. In that case, it had to stop suddenly. But it is the further part, your shoulders and your back was not ready to stop instantly along with the seat of the bus. So it got a forward jerk and you bend forward. So here we can see that the inertia of motion is observed. The second type of inertia, that is inertia of motion. The inherent property of an object due to which its state of motion cannot change is called as inertia of motion. For example, revolving electric fan you also can take. Okay. Continues to revolve even after you put off the button and electric supply has stopped. Okay. Now the fan is rotating and suddenly you put off the button. But the blades which were in motion are not ready to stop instantly. And they keep on revolving even after it is switched off. And slowly then it will come to a stop. Passengers sitting in a running bus. When the bus is moving, gets a jerk in the forward direction if the bus is going to suddenly stop. Here we see inertia of motion. Okay. Then the third type of inertia is related to direction. Suppose you are sitting in the back seat of a two-wheeler and the driver, one person who is driving the two-wheeler or a motorbike, he is going along straight. In a straight motion, the body was moving, which is sitting on a motorbike. But suddenly there was a curve and change of direction. A curve occurred. The driver was knowing, he turned, but you were not, your body, upper body was not knowing, and it could not instantly change the direction. It was ready to move forward, and suddenly there was a curve. In that case, the body tends to fall down or move forward, move in a circular way while changing the direction away from the vehicle. Okay. So the inherent property of an object due to which the object cannot change the direction of its motion is called as directional inertia. Now we were moving straight, so the body was ready to move straight. But suddenly the curve came. Your body is not knowing. So it will give that type of a circular motion and tending to fall down. For example, if a vehicle is in motion along a straight line and suddenly it turns, the passengers sitting in it are thrown opposite to the direction of the turn. If the bus also, if you are sitting, it suddenly, earlier it was moving straight and suddenly a curve came. What happens? The bus turns to the left and your body will be thrown opposite direction, that is towards the right side. It will be thrown like that. Okay, opposite direction of the turning, it will be getting a jerk or thrown away like situation. Okay, that is the third type of inertia. So this state of motion occurring due to force and in absence of force, objects exhibit a tendency to remain in its continuous situation. If it is in rest, it is not ready to move. If it is moving, it is not ready to stop immediately. Or if it is moving in one direction, suddenly the direction change, it is not ready to. And in the first situation, you get a jerk, and that is where we face inertia. And that is what inertia is. That is, any body, living or non-living, is not ready to change its existing state or situation. That is called as inertia. You can please note down the definition as well as types of inertia. You can note down in your copy. Okay. Then another example that we can discuss over is we can take a postcard and keep it on a glass. Keep a 5 rupee coin on it. Now skillfully push the postcard with a very great speed. The coin straight away falls in the glass. The coin does not move with the cardboard. It will fall into the glass. Another more example that you can try at home means the help of elders. You can do this experiment of a glass, cardboard and a coin. Hanging a half a kg mass to a stand with a string. Tie another string to the mass and keep it hanging. Now pulling the string to with a jerk, the string to breaks, but the mass does not fall down. Heavy mass does not move because heavy things are more pulled towards the earth due to gravitation. Now pull the string too slowly. The string, one will break and the mass falls down. This is because of the tension developed in the string due to the mass of that object. If the object is very heavy, it will definitely not get ready to change its existing state. And there you can see breakage of the string. Next topic that we are going to cover in this chapter is pressure. Okay. What is pressure? Now, too much difference is not there in understanding. By applying force, some pressure is created on an object. If you press something with force, you are applying force on, say, a pillow, which is full of cotton, or you can say a sponge. In that case, when force is applied, pressure is seen, isn't it? So, more the force applied, more the pressure will be, isn't it? You must have observed the tires of two-wheeler and four-wheeler getting pressurized. The air filling machine has a pressure. There is a clock-like structure that tells how much air pressure in the tire tube. The air filling machine has a pressure indicating dial or a digital meter showing the digital reading of the pressure. The machine fills the pressure to a certain value which is suitable for two-wheeler or four-wheeler tire tube. And by applying force, air pressure is increased and then the air is pushed into the tire with the small tube. Here you see force and pressure are related or not, that we understand. More amount of force we are applying, then the pressure will be more. When you push somebody with more force, more pressure is applied on that person and that will tend to fall. Your friend will tend to fall if you are pushing him, isn't it? Another activity that we can check out about is pointed nail, which is we are trying to put into a wooden plank with the help of a hammer. Okay. If the nail tip is not pointed and blunt, will it easily go inside? Obviously not. If the point of the nail is pointed very sharp, then easily it will get inserted into the wooden furniture or a plank. But if it is broad, thick, everybody must have seen nail, how it is. If the tip is pointed, very easily we can insert it into the wall or in furniture wooden part. But if the tip of this is blunt, not pointed one, the carpenter will also throw away such a nail. He will not use, because it will not go easily into the wooden plank or wooden furniture. Why? This thing, we are applying force. Force is applied with the help of hammer, but the pointed tip will easily go into the material we are trying to insert, but the blunt tip will not easily get inserted into the material we are trying to insert. Why this is happening? Can you think about it? See, force applied is same on both the nails, but this nail goes inside very easily. The other second nail is not going because it is having a blunt tip. What must be the reason? You can see the area. Less the area, pressure applied is more, and easily it goes into the wooden material where we want to put this nail. Are you getting? But the other nail, which is having a blunt tip, here you can see the area is more. Area covered by the end of the nail is more, and it is blunt, and it is not going inside easily. So from these examples, what we can understand is that pressure is directly proportional to force. More the force, more will be the pressure coming, isn't it? With more force you are pressing somebody, the more pressure will be applied on the object or person. But pressure is inversely proportional to area where the force is applied. Area if less, then pressure will be more. If area is more, pressure will be less. Hope you are understanding with the example of this nail. Okay? Pressure is directly proportional to force, but pressure is inversely proportional to area. Less the area, more the pressure. More the area, less will be the pressure. Okay? So this simple example is helping us to find out how pressure and force and area are interrelated to each other. From this examples, even if you take a blunt knife, can you cut an apple with a blunt knife not having a sharp edge? Obviously not. The material, cucumber or apple you want to cut will not be easily getting cut. You need a sharp edge knife, pointed knife to cut such things. Otherwise, with a blunt knife, it is not going to get cut properly. The force exerted perpendicular to an unit area is called as pressure. Now, definition of pressure, how we can note down is the force exerted perpendicularly on a unit area is called pressure. Okay, this is going to be your definition for pressure. And from this examples also we have got that force and pressure are interrelated. Pressure is directly proportional to force but inversely proportional to area. Therefore, the formula for pressure will be how it will be based on this notings that we have done with the experimentation, that it is directly proportional to force but inversely proportional to area on which the force is applied. Now, based on this formula, certain problems can be solved. And the SI unit of force is Newton. In earlier class, I have told you the SI unit of force is Newton. In that case, what could be the SI unit of pressure? SI unit of pressure will be Newton per meter square. Newton per meter square. Because area is also playing a role in deciding the pressure. And here you can see it has nothing to do with direction. Atmospheric pressure is also there. So where is direction? It has nothing to do with direction. Therefore, pressure is a which quantity? Scalar or vector? Pressure is a scalar quantity. Why? Because direction is not considered here. Only magnitude is utilized. On the other hand, when we were discussing force, we found that force is a vector quantity. Because here magnitude, which direction, force applying in which direction is also considered. So where there is direction, it is a vector quantity. When there is no direction involved, it is a scalar quantity. Further things about pressure we are going to discuss in the next class. Thank you.